All right, let me see. Let me make sure I got y'all set up as good as I can get y'all. Okay. So I'm going to just go ahead and get started. I'm recording this live because I want to do this live. Let me see something. Make sure I'm live here. Let's see. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm live. All right, let's go right here. Let me open this one up. Here we go right here. You click on it. Let's open that up. Let's open it up. Now, this is just a sample. So I'm not going to be reading this whole book, of course. I had no intentions on trying to read the whole book, even if I had the whole book. This is just a sample. I do have the book, but this one on my Kindle is just a sample, right? So I probably should just go ahead and purchase it so that I will be able to continue this. But what do we mean? What does it mean? Because a lot of people are hearing this a lot, right? And before I go any further, let me give my copyright disclaimer. Fair use is granted under the Copyright Act of 1976. And also, fair use is granted under the Copyright Act of 1976 for commentary, criticism, education, tutorials, entertainment, news, etc. So and I'm reading this from my library, from my Kindle library, as you can see it up here. I hope anybody that jumps in the building, because I'm not really looking at my screen, I hope anybody that jumps on can see my screen, okay? I got y'all set up on my phone. I can't go live from my PC. I would have loved that done it from my PC, but this is the best I could do right now. So I want to do this because there's a lot of people. You know, I talk about this often on my page, this big controversy that's going on between, FBA and those so-called black people that are saying they are indigenous, as in American Indian. What is this big battle that keeps going on? Like, I don't really get it, because I just feel like, first of all, everybody's story is not the same. Everybody's story is different. Your story is not going to be the same as my story, etc. So if I tell you that my grandmother told me a story of how we have Indian in our blood, who are you to say that that's a lie? Because for you to say that that's a lie, you basically call my grandmother a liar. Like from the time I was a little child, I've heard the stories. Nobody ever really sat me down and really told me the stories in details. Now that I'm older, I understand why that may have not happened. Because a lot of the stories that our elders had to hide certain parts of their identity, especially when it came to that what we want to call indigenous blood, right? They had to hide their identity. Now, I know certain parts of my story, as far as my family lineage, and I wouldn't sit here on YouTube and reveal it, because of certain things relating to that. But, there's this battle that's going on between us, and I keep trying to figure out, why is there this battle? What is the battle about? Like, who are you to tell somebody that their family is from Africa? Listen, I come from a big family. My grandparents, may they rest in power, have 14 children. Y'all hear me? 14 children. To the date, only 3 of my aunts and uncles are alive. One of my last uncle, my daddy's last living brother, is fighting for his life right now in the hospital. I just learned this like the night before last. So that means that I will have 2 living aunts, right? And so what I'm doing is I'm going to them, asking them to tell me the story. And if one of my videos, I can't remember which video, but one of my videos, I played a recording of my aunt telling the story of how my grandmother used to tell them that, yes, we do have native blood. Well, what you call American Indian blood. So, that's on my YouTube on one of my videos. I can't recall which one it is right now, but I'm just saying. So for somebody to come along and say that that's not true, How dare you? And my family is large. When my grandparents was living, we had a barbecue and a family reunion like every other summer. A lot of y'all can attest to that. Back in the days, we used to have barbecues all the time. Some of y'all not barbecues, family reunions. Some of y'all still have family reunions on a regular basis. My grandparents, they have transitioned for many years now. But growing up, we always got together down south, and we always had family reunions down south, Bear Park, different places, but we always had family reunions, and not once do I remember my big mama saying, cousin such and such is coming in from Africa to attend the family reunion. I've never met a family member that came in from the continent of Africa. That's no disrespect to any Africans from the continent of Africa. That's no disrespect to Africans anywhere. Okay, because I have a lot of friends that are from the continent, the motherland, Africa, right? But I've never met a blood member, a family member from the continent of Africa. And I come from a large family, like I just told y'all. So what's all the argument about? Nobody don't have a right to tell somebody, oh, your family is from Africa, if you can't even prove that. One of the things in my culture is that prove it, right? 360 degree knowledge, right knowledge. And if anybody ever tells you anything, you make them prove it. If a man tells you are African, make them prove it to you. So what's the argument about? That's why I want to read this right here, okay? They were white and they were slaves, because we need to kind of put the kibosh on this. Too many people running around here arguing about who's African, who's American, and it ain't nobody's business to really tell somebody where your family is from, what's your family lineage, right? And the story of how am I going to say it? A lot of people are arguing over the fact of, well, what does it mean when y'all say the story was told in reverse? So let us dive into this book and see, what did it mean the story was told in reverse? How was the story was told in reverse? Because a lot of people hear it, but a lot of people are not proving it. A lot of people are saying it, but how are we showing that the story was told in reverse? So let's show how the story was told in reverse. So this book right here, again, coming out of my Amazon Kindle, They Were White and They Were Slaves: The Untold History of the Enslavement of Whites in Early America by Michael A. Hoffman II. Okay, so let's go. All right. Same thing, cover page. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Independent history. Okay, this is copyright 1991, 92. Anybody want to go down to Amazon, y'all go on and check that out, okay? I would have leave the link downstairs, but Amazon, YouTube messing with me. You know what I'm saying? They won't let me leave no live links. Talking about I got to be verified, and I've been up here for 8 years, but I got to be verified now. Okay? Anyway, let's go. All right, so we're going to start. I'm going to start. Let me see. Not there. I want to start right here. White slavery and because see, all of this right here is taking us all the way back to like ancient and medieval Europe. Now we could get into that, but I don't really want to start there. Not right now. Maybe we can go back there. I really want to start here. White slavery in early America, right? Because here is where I feel as though a lot of people are kind of getting the story mixed up. Like, how was the story told in reverse? What are y'all saying when y'all say they was the slaves and we wasn't the slaves? I mean, even though, big shout out to brother Dane Calloway, okay, and his wife, Tanisha, they putting out information that has already been showing and proving that. Still, for my channel, I'm doing this for my people, okay? So let's go. Now, white slavery in early America. David Bryan Davis, writing in the New York Review of Books, October 11th, 1990, page 37, states, as late as the 14th and 15th centuries, continuing shipments of white slaves. Listen up, what it say? It says continuing shipment. Y'all hear that? Continuing shipment of white slaves. Okay? Somebody in the back. I need you to hear that. Shipment of white slaves. You know what a shipment is, right? Some of them Christians flowed from the booming slave markets on the northern Black Sea coast into Italy, Spain, Egypt, and the Mediterranean islands, from Barbados to Virginia colonies. Showed few scopes about reducing their less fortunate countrymen to a status little different from that of chattel slaves. Okay, you see that? A little different from, look, what it says. Show few scopes about reducing their less fortunate countrymen to a status of little different from that of chattel slaves. So I thought we was the only ones that was always being referred to as chattel slaves, right? Isn't that what the transatlantic slave trade and African slaves was always referred to as chattel slaves? But here we see that they too were no different, very little different than that of chattel slaves. Okay? The prevalence and suffering of white slaves, serfs, and indentured servants in the early modern period suggests that there was nothing inevitable about limiting plantation slavery to people of African origin. Okay, let me read that one more time. Let's take that from right there. The prevalence and suffering of white slaves, serfs, and indentured servants in the early modern period suggests that there was nothing inevitable about limiting plantation slavery to people of African origin. See? What's that? L. Rochams, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, pardon me. In the source of racial thought in colonial America, states that the slave trade worked in both directions, with white merchandise as well as black. Journal of Negro History, number 52, page 251 through 273. Okay? So it really wasn't no different. You see what I'm saying? It was no different. So how is it that well, of course we know what it was really all about, right? We know that was the battle for the land. See, that's where the battle for the land more than likely came in, right? Because if it was really no different, and they too were being referred as damn near chattel slaves, so then that means that what the difference had to be when they decided that, they wanted that land. They wanted the land. They wanted the land. Well, we know that's why they came over here for anyway, right? To make way for them to take the land. Okay? But how is it that in the beginning, this is how it started, but in the end, we the only ones wind up still here in this fucking situation that we in today? This is what I keep trying to figure out, okay? Because if we was all slaves and somebody just came along and flipped up the whole game, flipped the whole script on us, and they wound up free and owning everything, and we just wound up still today POWs, something like slaves, which is incorrect because we're not Slavic. Okay, slaves come from Slavic. Okay, we POWs, prisoners of war. Okay, that should have been established like way years ago. But I'm just saying though, for the people in the back, right? Okay, so here in 1659, the English Parliament debated the practice of selling British whites into slavery in the New World. In the debate, the whites were referred to not as indentured servants, They were not referred to as indentured servants, but as slaves. Hold up. So you know what indentured service is, right? Now, indentured servitude, what was that going for? Like, what I think, if I recall, because it's been so long since I read that part of history, but if I recall, we talking about what? That could be anywhere from what, like 5 to 20 years, right? A time period, and then you were set free, and you would go. You were free. You were free, right? And a lot of times, when it came to indentured servitude, you could have your family with you, right? But this saying right here that these people, and y'all know who we talking about when we say these people, right? These people, okay, were not referred to as indentured servants, but as slaves. So they were slaves, not indentured servants, not here to just work off some debt or whatever have you for a time. They were considered slaves, right, in the beginning, okay, whose enslavement threatened the liberties of all Englishmen. Thomas Burton, Parliamentary Diary, 1656 through 59, volume 4, page 253, 274. Okay, I'm reading all this so y'all can know, because everybody likes receipts nowadays. Even though you look right at the screen, I'm still giving the receipts, okay? So, their enslavement threatened the liberties of all Englishmen. Precious white people in slavery like that. That's an abomination. An abomination, I'm supposed they must have felt like, right? How dare you? Excuse me for a minute, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm looking at my phone real quick. My baby over here texting me. All right, I gotta get back to you, sweetie. I don't have no money anymore. What? Cash App. Damn, I don't have my Cash App right now, man. All right, well, I'm scared. I'm sorry. Excuse me, y'all. I have to get back to her, my daughter. I'll get back to her. Foster R. Dulles in Labor in America quotes an early document describing white children in colonial servitude as crying and mourning for redemption from their slavery. Y'all hear that? Wait a minute. It says Foster R. Dulles in Labor in America quotes an early document describing white children in colonial servitude as crying and mourning for redemption. What? Crying and mourning for redemption. Wow. Now that sure sounds a lot like what our story was supposed to be like, right? I thought our story was so downtrodden, us poor niggers, all us poor niggers, right? We got that poor downtrodden story that's been being passed down from generation to generation. But it says right here, the white children was crying and mourning for redemption from their slavery. Huh? Hello, somebody. What's happening? What's happening? For real. What is happening? Dr. Hillary what is this? Dr. Hillary that's not McD, but that's Dr. Hillary McBeckles of the University of Hull, England, writes regarding white slave labor, indenture contracts were unalienable, the ownership of which could easily be transferred like that of any other commodity. What? Wait a minute, hold up, yo. I need something. No, wait a minute, hold up. Is that for real right there? Y'all hear that? We gotta read that one more time. Hold up, I gotta read that one more time for the people in the back. I don't think you heard that. And why is my mic not on? That's what I keep on hitting my thing over here. Oh, I don't have this plugged up in the back of this computer. Oh man, I'm live. Oh well. That's not gonna happen, right? So we ain't gonna have no sound effects or nothing. Dang, I forgot that was unplugged. All right, so let's go. Matter of fact, yeah, because I don't know how to really work this. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know how to work this like that. Not really, But yeah. So we reading from they were white and they were slaves. For anybody that's just coming into the building, that's what I'm reading from. They were white and they were slaves. Okay. All right. So where was I at? Let's go back. Dr. Hilary McBeckles of the University of Hull, England, writes regarding white slave labor, indenture contracts were unalienable. Unalienable. I will always mess that word up. Excuse me for that, y'all. The ownership of which could easily be transferred, like that of any other commodity, as with slaves. Ownership changed without their participation in the dialogue concerning transfer. Hold up. Beckles. Wow, but this part right here, like that of any other commodity, that's the part that's got me right there. Hold up. Like that. No. That can't be right. Not the precious, not them precious people. Not them precious people. That was us. Wasn't that us? Wasn't that so-called black people? This is so-called black people story, right? But wait, this book is entitled what? They were white and they were slaves. The untold history of the enslavement of whites in early America. Hello, somebody. And this is what year is this? Let me see. Oh no, that's from the book. That's from the book. But we talking about 14th. We talking about 14th and 15th century. That's what we read in the beginning, right? The last page, the first page. 14th, 15th century we talking about here, right? So what does this say right here? This says in the British West Indies, plantation slavery was instituted as early as 1624, right? But yeah, this is all in reference to the 14th and the 15th century, right? So it wasn't you. It wasn't you. It wasn't you. You. These things were not happening to you. I'm talking about you, melanated man, you, melanated woman. Okay, so-called black man, so-called black woman. However you want to identify yourself. Because like I say all the time, y'all got way too many titles. You keep letting people put these titles on you. Too many. Listen. So however you choose to identify yourself, that's what I'm referring to, okay? No pun intended. But let's go forward, okay? What did it say right there? In labor's short 16th and 18th century, white worker and... Oh, that's the next page. My bad. What am I doing here? Okay, let's go back. My bad. Where was I at? What happened? It says... Ownership changed without their participation in the dialogue concerning transfer. Beckles, my bad, y'all. My daughter keep on sending me these texts over here, and I don't know how to pause it. I can't pause it because I'm live right now, and I don't think you can pause this thing like that. Yo, I don't really know because this is kind of like not my first time, but my first time going live like this, right? But anyway, where we at? You're gonna have to wait, though. You're gonna have to wait, young lady. You gotta wait. Okay, yeah, should be all right. Okay, refers to indentured servitude as white proto-slavery. So it says Beckles refers to indentured servitude as white proto-slavery. The Americas, Volume 41, Number 2, page 21. In the calendar of state papers, colonial series, America and West Indies. See, I'm reading all this out because there might be one of y'all in the audience that, I don't know, maybe you a researcher. Maybe you one of the kind of people that like to do research. So I'm reading all these books out and the titles and the names, the authors, So that may be, you may want to write down something right now. I don't know. You might want to write down something right now. Like everybody wants receipts nowadays. So I'm making sure I'm reading out all the names of all these references. Okay. So this one right here, in the calendar of state papers colonial series, America and West Indies of 1701, we read of a protest over the encouragement to the spiriting away of Englishmen without their consent and selling them for slaves. Because they were doing that to a lot of them were prisoners, right? They were prisoners, taking them out of jail and sending them over here as part of their punishment, right? Part of their prison time, their jail time, making them build up America and such, right? You can look at movies like Mary Bryant. That movie I go to because that's an easy movie to find. So you can look at movies like Mary Bryant and you can see things like that, okay? You can see when the British pulled up and the Aborigines, how they didn't know how to work the land, a lot of them were dying from famine. I mean, there's just so many movies, but like I said, Mary Bryant is one of the better or easier movies to find that you could look up, right? So, encouragement to the spiriting away of Englishmen without their consent. Oh, looky. It says we read of a protest. They were having protests, y'all. Protests of Englishmen without their consent. Nobody told you could just take me away like that. That's what it says right here. Look. It says, wait a minute, hold up for a minute, y'all. I gotta go get this for a minute, for real. I gotta go check this. I'll be right back. I got this pot on in here. I gotta turn this off. Yeah, I had to turn that off. Got to turn that off. I had to step away to turn that pot off. Oh Lord, we ain't trying to catch, catch the house on fire. Nah, gotta stop for that one. I had to put y'all on hold for that one. For real, I can turn that pot off, Jack. Not on my watch. No. Okay, hold up. You know what? As a matter of fact, let me step right here for a minute. I'm gonna step right here, y'all. I'm gonna step right here, and I'm gonna do this real quick. Y'all hold on for a minute. Don't leave me, because it's about to get good. It's about to get juicy, because they crying. Y'all. Y'all see this? They crying. The poor little children was crying, and now they crying about them, just sweeping them away like that, just taking them off like that without their consent. Like, how dare you? How dare you? Who you think you are? You can't do that. Supposedly they did what they did to us, though, right? They did it to us. But then when we stand up and we speak out against those things and the damage it has done to, the psychosis of most so-called Black people, when we speak out against anything, we demonize. We wrong. Or we told, shut up, won't you go back to Africa? What? First of all, we ain't even gonna get into all that, but I'm just saying, though, y'all feel me on that, right? We not supposed to have no feelings at all. We not supposed to speak out about anything, okay? And they even put a clause in the 14th Amendment to make sure you don't speak out about nothing. Right there in the 14th Amendment, okay, where it says you don't have the right to question anything about slavery. So yeah, when it's one of us, we told to shut up, we told to be quiet, we scrutinize and demonize and all of that. Yeah, I had to step over here for a minute. What's that called at? Okay, here you go. Yeah, I want to plug this in. So pardon me, y'all. Pardon me. Anybody in the building? Pardon me 1 second over here. Damn, where I'm plugging this at? Oh, right here. I got a trillion things plugged up over here. I'm gonna have to fix this. All right. There we go. What? Yeah, there we go. We go. Okay. All right. So tight over here too. All right, yeah. So like I was saying, that's mighty that that's mighty weight of you, to feel that way. No disrespect. You understand what I'm talking about? I'm talking about the people under the stairs, okay? I'm not talking about Becky up the block. Okay, I'm not talking about Bob up the block. Okay, I always tell y'all that. If you live anywhere around my neighborhood, I'm not talking about you. You in the same boat as me. I'm talking about the people under the stairs. Okay? So anyway, like I was saying, let's get back over here. Yeah. So you see that? They was crying out. Look, they was crying out and they was upset. They was having protests about the spiriting away of Englishmen without their consent. Like, who told you could just do that? You know what I mean? Just take out people like that. Yeah. So where am I at now? We're gonna read from here. Okay. And selling them as slaves. Wow. Ain't that the pot calling the kettle black? The pot calling the kettle black. Y'all hear this? Y'all hear this? Yeah, they was crying. Oh, woe is we. How could you do that to me? But all the while, ain't that what they did to our ancestors? Seems to me you did it to you too. So this is why I be telling people sometimes, like, listen, let me tell y'all something. I had an argument with a friend, right? When the whole January the 6th incident broke out, I had an argument with a friend. Not because I was saying anything bad about it, insurrection or whatever. What I was saying was, this is not our fight. For once in a long time, black people ain't being blamed for nothing. So why don't we just sit the heck down and mind our business, right? Because they doing what they always do. They've always done this. Enslave one another, beat on each other. I mean, it gets even more horrific than that. There's literature out there to tell you about that if you really want to get that deep, which I'm not going to get all into that, but I'm just saying, you can read literature about that, what is it, the Iceman cometh, all kind of things, right? But I'm just saying, like, all this time we've been sitting around feeling like, not all of us, but a lot of us, enough of us to the point as where now it has taken effect over our people and how we view ourselves. We got so many brothers and sisters out here that you have no pride. You don't care anymore because you just feel like, what am I? I'm nothing. I'm just a nigga. I'm just a nigga. What am I? But all the while, it was you. It was your story. And you sold it to my people, sold it to us, and indoctrinated us into that story every single Black History Month. And I just talked about this on my Black History Month video. How every single Black History Month, what they show us, your whole lineup on your TV, if you a streamer, okay, I don't know how it works with cable, but if you're a streamer, your whole lineup is nothing but Roots, a woman called Moses, Jane Pittman, all those stories, right? Rosa Parks, you know what I mean? And then they want to always show you on Channel 13. What's that show? He lift every voice, and everything is in black and white. Just make your story, make you feel so more like Oh, my story just so horrible. Ain't nothing good about, my people, and everything I hear that's good about my people is always from way back in Egypt when we was kings and queens and pharaohs, and all my people seem to have ever been good for in recent years is being slaves and being downtrodden and always fighting for rights. I mean, fighting for rights, yeah, we've been doing that. Now that ain't no lie, we've been doing that. Okay? But now we know. We know, and we need to let everybody that we know that that's not your story, boo. That's not your story, boo. They was the ones crying, like it says right here, crying out, right? How they taking and spiriting taking away their Englishmen without their consent and selling them as slaves, which hath been a practice for frequent and known by the name of kidnapping. Emphasis added. Okay, so that's a little emphasis added on there, which has been a practice very frequent and known by the name of kidnapping. Whoa, wait a minute. Is it kidnapping now? Is it kidnapping now? Wait a minute. Are you for real? Because I thought that's what a lot of us been saying too. A lot of us been saying we was kidnapped. Huh? We was kidnapped. We POWs, prisoners of war. We was kidnapped. But when we say it ain't true. No, we wasn't kidnapped. We wasn't kidnapped because I read to you from this book over here, and I don't want to leave out of there, but it's going to take me right back, so I'll jump over here. Because I read to you from this book right here, the Negro Christianized, right? How they came and they Christianized us poor, wretched niggas, because we was just so poor and so wretched and ignorant, and uncivilized and savages, right? So yeah, it was all in the name of Jesus too. It was all in the name of God too. Now that's what you call some blasphemy. Okay, but yeah. And this is all literature, okay, that I'm talking about. Okay, so this is all coming out of actual literature. This is all coming out of actual historical events. Okay, things that actually happen. So there's no pseudo here. I'm not making this up. Y'all see I'm reading just straight from these books, okay? But yeah, so when we jump back over here, Okay, it should take me right back to where I was. Yeah, here we go, right where I was, okay? Which have been practiced very frequent and known by the name of kidnapping. What? They was kidnapped too, y'all. Yeah, they was kidnapped. They was treated as chattel slaves. Oh my goodness! I mean, yeah, the same thing. Isn't that something that's amazing? You mean to tell me they went through the same thing? But they went through the same thing, or they the only ones that went through all that. Now, which one is it? Okay. Now, and I can't look at no comments if there's any comments going on. I don't know how to do this thing right here. Plus, the way I got the phone set up, I can't see it anyway. But yeah. So what gives really? Like, wow. So y'all just straight up just told us the whole story in reverse. In the British West Indies, plantation slavery was instituted as early as 1627. In Barbados, by the 1640s, there were an estimated 25,000 slaves. Wait a minute, we still talking about them, right? We still talking about them, right? Because that's what the book is about, right? The book is about they were white and they were slaves. So yeah, we talking about them because it says right here, okay, they was protesting because the Englishmen was being swept away and being sold as slaves, right? So yeah, we still talking about them right here. In British West Indies, plantation slavery was instituted as early as 1627. In Barbados, by 1640, there were an estimated 25, wait, what? Of whom 21, okay, so some of them wasn't old. Okay, well, that's still a big number. Look at that. Of whom 21,700 was white. So if it was the only 25,000 and only 21,700 of them was white, then that means that it wasn't very many of you that were slaves, or whoever else this other 4,000, 3,000, 3,000 what, 3,000 people, whoever they were, right? So you see that number? Like, how can that number be so big? Because we were supposed to be the ones to occupy and take up all of that. That was all us, all usum, all melanated so-called black people, right? But looking at these numbers over here, from the 25,000 slaves, 21,000 of them was white, okay? Rounded off to the nearest 1 or 10 or 100, okay? But you get the drift. Some observations on the island of Barbados, calendar of state papers, colonial series, page 528. Y'all got that? Okay. It is worth noting that while white slaves were worked to death in Barbados, what? Wait a minute. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. They was worked to death. Are they serious? Not the white people, y'all. No, not the white people. The white people was worked to death. But I thought you was worked to death. Or was we both worked to death? I don't know. I'm confused. What's happening here? For real. Because I could swear that was black people. But it says right here, it is worth noting that while white slaves were worked to death, oh, see now, I feel bad, y'all. I feel bad. Because I thought that, but see now, look at here, all of this we see now, but this is most of y'all right here. But most of y'all.
I don't want to live the way you live. Don't be ridiculous, Andrea. Everybody wants this.
See that? Everybody wants this. Most of y'all want everything they got. Everything they got, because they done convinced you that was you. Downtrodden, when in all actuality, we had it all. Uh-oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I hit that button by mistake. Sorry about that. Yeah, in all actuality, we had it all. Until with this whole Civil Rights Act, because black people felt like they had to sit at the bus counter. We had to eat the same sandwiches that they ate. What was wrong with the table you were sitting at, or just taking your sandwich and going home? Huh? No, we had to sit at the table with them. You got to let me in here, mister. I got to get in this club. Why? I don't know. But that's what a lot of us had to do, even though we had a whole lot more before we did that. Huh? I got to get up in your school because my baby not getting a good education over here at this little shack that the church done built up, right? And Miss Jenkins over there, she's a little school teacher, bless her heart, but no, my baby, this ain't good enough. My baby, we got to get in your school. I got to get my baby in your school, right? So we had to have that whole board of education versus Brown incident. No disrespect to anybody that was involved in that, okay? I'm not trying to disrespect any of the elders. When I say elders, y'all know I told y'all, elders don't mean just because you old. That's a title that you need to earn, okay? So I'm talking about those that were really doing something, okay, and teaching and being a part of the solution, not the problem, right? Elders, right? The teachers, the leaders, right? So anyway, yeah, that's what we needed though. That's what we had to have. We had to have it. We had to have it. I got to get my kids in that school. But Neely Fuller already told you that they don't teach your babies the same education anyway, because Woodrow Wilson already told you that he don't want everybody to have the same education. Okay, because some of you are meant to be just worker bees. But all this we had to have. And now look where we at. Look where we at. And all the while, come to find out, the story was really told in reverse. It wasn't all on us. We wasn't the ones being tormented like that to that degree, not just us. It was mostly them. This is mostly their story, right? But if you say that, you got people out here that want to debate that. Because we got to hold on to that story. We got to hold on to it. If we don't hold on to that story, what else we going to do? What else we going to have? If we don't hold on to the story of slavery, if we don't hold on to the story of being, whipped and beaten, all of that, not saying that never happened to no one of color, okay? But why we got to hold on to only that? Okay? That's not our only story, is what I'm trying to say. Okay? And we shouldn't hold on to that because that's not our only story and it ain't all our story. Okay? Don't forget when you say history, because this is all coming out of history, let's not forget history is what? His story. Is it not? Okay, but anyway, let's continue on. Okay, so where was we at? Some evidences on the island of Barbados. I already read that. Okay, white slaves were worked to death in Barbados. There were Caribbean Indians brought from Ghana to help propagate native foodstuffs who were well treated and received as free persons by the wealthy planters. Let me read that again. It is worthwhile. Okay, not there. I'm not there. I'm sorry. I don't have on my reading glasses. These ain't my reading glasses. That's why I'm kind of having a hard time right now. I probably should go get them. Where am I at? It is worth noting that while white slaves were worked to death in Barbados, there were Caribbean Indians brought from Ghana. Listen, you hear? Listen. It is well worth noting that while white slaves were worked to death in Barbados, there were Caribbean Indians brought from Ghana to help propagate native foodstuff who were well treated and received as free persons by the wealthy planters. Wait a minute. Come on. Now you kidding me? You kidding me with that, right? That's not real. That's not real. No. Did that say that says Caribbean Indians brought from Ghana to help propagate native foodstuff who were well treated and received as free persons by the wealthy planters. Hello, somebody. Come on. What? Really? Indians from Ghana and was treated well, and they were received as free persons by wealthy planters. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't planters members of the Planters Association? Were those not the slavers? And are we talking about the white slavers? Right? Yes, we are talking about the white slavers because that's what this book is about. This book is about that, right? Them being enslaved by their own people. So, yeah. So where we at? Leave me a girl. Oh man. Let me just text her real quick, y'all. Hold on one second. My bad. Let me just text my daughter because she is. Hold on. Come on. Okay, yeah. All right, anyway, let's go. All right, moving on. Of the fact that the wealth of Barbados was founded on the backs of white slave labor. Wait a minute. Hold up, let's go back here real quick. Okay, it says, and they were well treated and received as free persons by the wealthy planters. Because you know now see, I need to make a note here that not all people who owned plantations and had slaves were just, Caucasian, right? So, jump back over here. Of the fact that the wealth of Barbados was founded on the backs of white slave labor. The wealth of Barbados was founded on the backs of white slave labor. There can be no doubt of the fact that wealth of of Barbados was founded on the backs of white slave labor. There can be no doubt. That's my bad, y'all. I double read that. White slave laborers from Britain and Ireland were the mainstay of the sugary colony. Until the mid 1640s, there were few blacks in Barbados. Y'all hear that? Few blacks in Barbados. Yeah, this is before cotton and all that, right? This is the beginning, before the cotton and cotton gin and all that, right? We were dealing with sugar, right? Rice, and, before cotton, right? So until the mid 1640s, there were few blacks in Barbados. George Downing wrote to John Winthrop, the colonial governor of Massachusetts, in 1645 that planters who wanted to make a fortune in the British West Indies must procure white slave labor out of England if they wanted to succeed. You hear that? They had to take them from England. The white, so planters who wanted to make a fortune in the British West Indies must procure white slave labor out of England. Now, I'm pretty sure most of them were the prisoners. Yeah. If they wanted to succeed. Elizabeth Downing documents illustrative of history of the slave trade in America, page 125-1 to 126. White indentured servants were employed and threatened. White indentured servants were employed and treated incidentally exactly like slaves. What? Get the heck out of here. Y'all kidding me? They were treated exactly like slaves? Not the white people. Listen, This is for entertainment purposes. Let me give my disclaimer one more time. Fair use is granted under the Copyright Act of 1976 for education, tutorial, news, commentary, criticism. So this is just for educational as well as entertainment purposes, right? I mean, nobody, no disrespect, right? I'm reading this straight from this book, but of course, I'm putting my own spin on it, which is what I do here on my channel. I'm putting my spin on it, right? And I'm not trying to disrespect nobody. I'm reading it straight from the page, okay? I'm just putting my own spin on it, and I'm saying it like that because, yes, that's how white people, a lot, not all, but a lot of y'all, a lot of not y'all, a lot of them have acted through the years, you know, treated us so poorly through the years, right? Because this was all supposed to be our history. We were supposed to, our babies were supposedly the ones that were crying, right? As it said over here, right? If I'm not mistaken, where am I at? Where am I at? As it said, right? Our babies were supposedly the ones that were crying, as it says right here. Foster R. Dulles in Labor in America quotes an early document describing white children in colonial servitude as crying and mourning for redemption from their slavery. So I am not trying to be nasty. I am not trying to be cruel. I am not trying to be mean. I am just saying. I am putting my own spin on this information that I'm taking from this book because throughout all the years of my life, it's always been my brothers and sisters that have been ridiculed because this was taught to us as though this was our history and these were our babies crying and mourning for redemption of slavery, right? These were our men that were having their liberties threatened, right? So this is the story that we've always been hearing was us. So I'm sorry if I'm making it sound like I'm trying to just put white folks down. You know, I told you my channel is not about that. My channel is not about racism or any of those things. And besides that, I'm not a racist. I could not be a racist because I'm not in a race with nobody. I tell y'all all the time, I hope we all make it. So I just had to put that out there, right? Because there's always somebody in the back that got something to say. And I want to make it be known that not over here. I don't move that way. But I'm putting my own spin on this information, okay? And it just seems mighty funny to me that everything I'm reading right now was taught to me from the time I was a baby. That all of these things happened to me and all my brothers and sisters. So, excuse me, if I'm now, making it funny. Because for a long time, a lot of them was making it funny when it was us and only us, right? So I'm just putting a spin on it, a little joke. That's all. I'm just making it comical. That's all. Okay. So if it can be comical when it comes to us, it can be comical when it comes to you. All right. So where was I at? I'm past that. Oh, I went too far. Okay, of the fact that the wealth of Barbados was founded on the backs of white labor, there can be no doubt white slave laborers from Britain and Ireland were a mainstay in the sugar colonies. If planters wanted to make a fortune in British West Indies, most procedures. Yeah, I need my glasses, man. Ain't nobody here. I could just call somebody and tell them to bring my glasses. Dang. Man. White indentured servants were employed and treated incidentally exactly like slaves. That's where I was. Okay, the many gradations of unfreedom among whites made it difficult to draw fast lines between any idolized free whites. No, I feel like I missed something. I know I did. I know I missed something. Okay, here we go. Let me go back up here. Where was I at? Elizabeth Dunning, documents illustrative of the history of the slave trade in America. I need to check that book out myself right there. Elizabeth Dunning, documents illustrative of the history of the slave trade to America, page 125 to 126. White indentured servants were employed and treated incidentally exactly like slaves. Get the heck out of here. The many gradations of unfreedom. I know I mispronounced that wrong. I know I did. Don't forget, I'm still having some dental work going on. So if anybody hears me slur or if my wording doesn't sound too clear, I've said it before in other videos. I am having some dental work going on, and I'm wearing a plate for the sake of this video, but it's kind of uncomfortable. Okay, so yeah, please excuse me on that. Right. Of unfreedom among whites made it difficult to draw fast lines between any idolized free white workers and a pitted or scorned servile black worker. Wait, let me read that over. The many gradations of unfreedom among whites made it difficult to draw fast lines between any idolized free white worker and a pitted or scorned servile, servile black worker. Okay, servile black worker. We still indentured servants at this time. This is before that whole I guess what you would call chattel slavery. This is before the whole transatlantic slave trade, right? So here's my thing, right? Because I don't protest to be an expert. I am a student. So here's my thing, and I wish I could see the chat in case anybody says anything back on this. But here's my thing. So this is all dealing with before the transatlantic slave trade, right? Because as I stated in the beginning, as we read, this is dealing between the years of the 14th and the 15th century, right? So my thing is this. If all of this happened to them, sounds a lot like our story, right? But it all happened to them in the beginning. And then by the time the transatlantic slave trade allegedly rolled around, they did it to us, right? Because now they were in control and they did it to us, right? As the story goes. Is that how the story supposedly goes, right? Somebody dropped something in the chat, right? Somebody dropped something in the chat and I had to check it out later because I can't see the chat. I don't even know how to do it. I'm probably going to have to watch a video to really figure out how to properly do YouTube live from the phone, which I probably should have done that before that, right? But, I see it's a little more detail, right? I'm so used to when you go on Facebook or IG, you just hit a button, give a title, give a thumbnail, hit a button, and boom, there you go. Chat is right there. Here, I don't see nothing, right? So I don't know. Is it something I'm supposed to do? I can't tell. But I will find out, and next time it will be better. Okay? Because as I go live more often on this channel, I want people to feel as though you can ask questions, and your questions will be answered. Right? I've had this channel for 8 years. I've never really tried to focus on building it up to anything massive because I wasn't trying to do YouTube as a business. I'm still not trying to do YouTube as a business, but I do want to be a lot more interactive with my people. You know what I mean? Build the channel up to be a lot more than what it is and engage with my people and my audience a lot more, right? So as I do that and do more lives, I want people to know that here on my channel, there's no such thing as a dumb question. As long as you don't come in here with hatred, you don't come into my chat trying to be disrespectful. Because listen, like I said in my getting back to Big Mama's video, I don't got no problem with. I'm not gonna argue with you, baby. I'm not gonna do that. I'm too old for that. I'm from Big Mama's house. I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm gonna put your ass out. That's it. I'm gonna put your ass out, right? So don't come on here with disrespect. As long as you don't come on here with disrespect, however you feel personally, you keep that to yourself. Here, we just here to bring awareness. I'm just here to bring awareness and to shed some light on a lot of the things that we were never taught and kept in the dark about. Okay, and that's always been my modus operandi since the first day I started this channel. But up here, there are no such thing as dumb questions. And all questions, if I can, I will answer. Right? There will be times where I won't see it. I won't see your question, so I can't answer it. But when I see it, I will answer it. Okay, which means that you don't have to hit the Cash App up every time you want to say something. You know, if you want to hit a Cash App up, if I ever put a Cash App up there, if I ever do, which, you know, I have no intention or no plans to do that, but I'm just saying, you ain't got to pay to ask a question and have your question answered. Okay, I'm not going to do that over here, ever. No matter how big this channel may grow to be, I'm not going to do that over here, okay? So, yeah, let's get back into it. Okay, and peace to anybody that's in the building. Thank y'all for stopping on by, rocking out a little bit with your big sis. Okay, the mini graduate. Okay, we already read that. Okay, in labor short 17th and 18th centuries. Okay, wait a minute, I need to go back right here. Whites made it difficult to draw fast lines between the idolized free white worker, between any idolized free white worker and a pitted or scorned servile black worker. Okay. So right there we starting to see the lines kind of vary, right? You see the white worker, the idolized free white worker, he's being, you know, pitted higher than that of the scorned servile black worker, right? The black what you call servant, right? The one that was an indentured servant, the blacks, the black worker, right? So we kind of see like a little bit of that right there. I guess it's kind of peaking right there, right? Because already it says right there, it was difficult to draw fast lines. In other words, it was like kind of difficult to tell who's right, who's wrong. Is that what they mean by that? You know, because when it came to the idolized free white worker and and the scorned black worker, it was difficult to draw fast lines. Okay, wait a minute. I could be reading that wrong. I gotta go back. Excuse me. Okay. Patrick E. Morin, in his historical sketch of the persecutions suffered by the Catholic of Ireland. You know, there's a lot of good books in here, right? Like, I really haven't read this book in a while. Like, for real, I'm not even gonna lie. Now, this right here is just a sample. This coming out of my Kindle is a sample. Now, I do have the paperback in my library, but yeah, I haven't picked it up and perused it or read it in a while. But there are a lot of good books in here that I'm like, Dad, I need to look these books up. Let me see. Patrick F. Morin, in his historical sketch of the persecutions suffered by the Catholics of Ireland, refers to the transportation of the Irish to the colonies as the slave trade. What? Hold up. Wait a minute. It says it refers to the what? It refers to the transportation of the Irish to the colonies as the slave trade. See, that's why I be saying, like, a lot of this stuff, they just taking it from pages of other books, sometimes from different times, time frames, different generations, even different centuries. A lot of it is just it's being taken from another book. It's being taken from somewhere else. It's not original. It's not an original idea. It's not an original thought. It's been done before. And if we all just would do a little more homework and a little more research, we could piece this shit together. Okay? Because really there's nothing new under the sun that's going on or that has gone on. Okay? That's really all they're doing. Okay? Because it's mighty funny that over here, and this is going all the way back to 16 something, right? This was called slave trade. Of course, this is just one person, Patrick F. Moran, okay? But I'm pretty sure that it did catch on, and that Patrick F. Moran wasn't the only one seeing it as a slave trade, right? But this is what we're dealing with the Irish here, right? The Catholics, right? Who were white, but it was being called a slave trade. So what I'm trying to say from that is that it's really nothing new under the sun. It never is. They just snatching little bits and pieces, a little piece from here, a little piece from there, a little piece from there. I'm gonna take a piece from that history over there, boom. Oh, that look good right there. Let me take a little piece of that, boom. That look good right there. Oh, that sound good right there. Let me write that down. Matter of fact, let me put a spin on that. Instead of that saying were, let's say was. And then they'll change one word and the whole thing gets changed. But it's really all the same thing, right? So, slave trade was not just used when it comes to the transatlantic slave trade, right? Is all I'm trying to say. Obviously, the disciplinary and revenue laws of early Virginia, 1631 to 1645, did not discriminate Negroes in bondage from whites in bondage. Do you hear that? The disciplinary and revenue laws of early Virginia. Virginia, hold up now, Virginia. Now, I know Virginia is the same place where they did the 1638 illusion, the illusion of inclusion. No. The what is it? Come on, not illusion of inclusion. The 1638 exclusion of inclusion. Excuse me for that. Yeah, that was done in that was 1638, if I'm not mistaken, right? The disciplinary revenue laws of early Virginia, 1631 through 1638. So if I'm not mistaken, was that 1638 or was that 1838? I should look that up real quick. Where's my phone at? What am I doing on my phone? Oh shoot. Here go the other phone. I'm tripping because I'm using the phone to go live. But I could use this phone, so let me use this phone right here. Because I want to have that date right. The Exclusion of Inclusion Act. Ah, come on, man. The Exclusion of Inclusion Act. I had the date all wrong. What? 1882. Damn, this is not even the right one. What does this say? The Exclusion of Inclusion Act is a reference to the Chinese exclusion. No. So that's not what I'm talking about. The inclusion of exclusion. The exclusion of inclusion. That's what I'm looking for. The exclusion of inclusion. Why can't I find this? Now, I know I have it in my files, but I don't want to go all into my files. Yeah, I believe that was 1638. I do believe that's what I'm talking about. Because I don't really want to go all into my files and pull it up. And I'm pretty sure I'm saying it right. Inclusion versus exclusion. Exclusion of inclusion, a critical analysis of the use. What's this? Yeah. Anyway, my bad, y'all. My mind got on something and I started looking something else up, okay? All right, but I'm just saying, though. If I'm not mistaken, that was 1638. That couldn't have been 1638. That's going to mess with me, yo, until I find that. Okay, wait a minute. Exclusion, exclusion. Inclusion, exclusion. American mind. Why can't I find that, yo? I know what I'm talking about. That's going to mess with me, though, for real, because I can't find what I'm talking about right here. Let me say it another way. 1638, exclusion of inclusion. Yeah, here we go. The year 1638 marks the arrival of Anthony Swart, the first enslaved person known by a name in the colony of New Sweden, hold up, yo, I know, wait a minute. I gotta go into my files, yo, for real, because I'm tripping right now, for real. Like, I know what I'm talking about, but for some reason, it's not coming up. I'll keep Googling this. I need to go into my files. Let me see. Because, let me see. It marks the beginning of the institution of slavery in the first state. The year 1638 is significant because it marks the beginning of the institution of slavery in the first state. Damn, that's where I'm at. Oh, snap. Okay. All right. Okay, so the more you know, right? So where was I at? I done got all off track. Anybody still in the building with me? Yeah, I done got way off track. Sorry, y'all. My mind be going, I be like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. That reminds me of something. I gotta look that up. And I'm gonna keep going until I gotta look that up. I gotta find that. Because I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm thinking about, what I'm talking about, right? You understand. Where we at? The disciplinary and revenue laws of early Virginia, 1631 to 1645. Because I'm looking at these years and I'm like, okay, so the exclusion of inclusion. Now, with the Exclusion of Inclusion Act, that was, matter of fact, let me jump over here real quick. Let's jump over here. Let's just go over here. Well, we live. We ain't doing nothing. We live. I got a little more time to kill, so let me just go into my Internet Explorer right here. Let me go into my Internet Explorer while I got y'all right here. And let me go into where I think that's at. That should be in... it should be in here. Might be in here. I think it might be in here. Let me see if I type it in. Did I Here you go. Look, doctrine. Oh, that's it. I was saying it wrong. That's why I kept saying, like, what is it? Is it inclusion of exclusion? Yo, I was saying it all wrong. I'm like, wait a minute. I know I'm not tripping. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I was saying it all wrong. I'm so sorry, anybody in the building. Yo, I apologize. I mean, listen. Hey, it can happen to anybody, right? But this is what I'm referring to right here. Oh, that's Maryland, because I saw Virginia, and then we talking about Maryland right here, right? Yeah, that's right. That was Maryland. Maryland was the doctrine of exclusion. Yo, that doctrine of exclusion, man, listen, neither the existing black population, their descendants, nor any other blacks shall be permitted to enjoy the fruits of white society. I always reference that. You know why I always reference that? Because even though that was in Maryland, can't nobody tell me that didn't trickle all over the world. Can't nobody tell me that, because that's going on right now today when it comes to we as so-called black people. Okay? We enjoying it, but we're not really enjoying it. We're not really enjoying it. To really enjoy the fruits of white society means that you are welcome without mas. You are welcome without prejudice. You are welcome, and you don't have to ever worry about the threat of someone throwing you out the club unless you didn't pay your dues. But yeah, that was just on my mind, so I had to go and find that, y'all, because it was just messing with my head. Because I kept looking at the place and I kept looking at the date, like, yo, why is that ringing a bell to me right now? So yeah, it's not Virginia, it's Maryland, right? So, but this is crazy because I'm looking at these dates and I'm like, so it says here the disciplinary and revenue laws of early Virginia, 1631 to 1645, did not discriminate Negroes in bondage from whites in bondage. But this is 1631 to 1645, and this is in Virginia. Now, I just read to you the doctrine of exclusion, 1638. Wouldn't that be somewhere in between right here, these years right here, 1638, would fall right in line to these years, right? So even though this is Virginia and that was Maryland, does it really make a difference? It's still the South, right? It's still the South. Because even here where I'm at right now in Delaware, this is considered this is the first state as it's called, and this is considered the beginning of the southern states. So we would still be considered in the South. So if at this time white people were enslaved, is what it says. It says disciplinary revenue laws of early Virginia did not discriminate. Did not discriminate. The Negroes in bondage from the whites in bondage. So that means white people, yes, white people, not the white people. What? Not the white people. No. You got to be wrong on that. You got to be wrong on that.
Oh my God, what is that? Oh my God, what is that?
It says right there, the white people too. You see it. But yeah, so they was being treated just as badly as you poor Negroes. Okay, so don't cry, dry your eyes. No, I'm just joking though, but I'm just saying, man, because these years, this is all intertwined. Is what I'm trying to say. This is all intertwined then. So that means that all of this was happening around the same time, y'all. You see it. You see it. Want me to open it up one more time? Yeah, same. We talking about the same time frame. 1638, Maryland, Doctrine of Exclusion. Virginia, 1631 to 1645. They didn't discriminate. So that means that around the same time that this doctrine of exclusion was being written and this law was made for black folks, white folks were still enslaved. Is that what that's saying? Who agree with that? Or am I wrong? Am I wrong? Because that's what it sounds like to me. That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah. But so where we at? William Henning, editor, Statutes at Large of Virginia, Volume 1, page 174, 198, 200, 246, 306. Those are the pages I'm supposing. For records of Willis in which lands, goods, and cattle, monies, Negroes, English servants, horses, sheep, and household stuff were all sold together. See the Lancaster County Records in Virginia Colonial Abstracts, Beverly Fleet, editor. Wait a minute, let me read that again. I gotta read that again. Y'all hold up. I think I missed something here. Let me see. William Henning, editor, Statutes at Large of Virginia, volume 1, page blah 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 blah. We don't gotta read all that. For records of Willis in which lands, goods, and chattel, cattle, money, Negroes, English servants, horses, sheep, household stuff were all sold together. See Lancaster County. I ride through Lancaster County all the time because my family, part of my family is up in the mountains. Yeah, so we ride through Lancaster County all the time, and I used to go to camp out there when I was a little Fresh Air Fun kid. Who was a Fresh Air Fun kid? Y'all remember Fresh Air Fun? Is Fresh Air Fun still around? I don't know. That was a long time ago. Okay. Lay historian Colonel A.B. Ellis, writing in the British newspaper Argosy, May 6, 1893. Few but readers of old colonial state papers and records are aware that between the years 1649 to 1690, no, that wasn't the same year, 1690. When was the census? 1790? I think that was 1790, right? A lively trade was carried on between England and the plantations, as the colonies were then called, in political prisoners. Okay, wait a minute. Lay historian Colonel A.B. Ellis, writing in the British newspaper Argosy. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm reading it over some time because, like I said, I don't have on my reading glasses. Usually, the glasses that I have on, they'll be medicated, and I don't have that on right now. Okay. Lay historian Colonel A.B. Ellis, writing in the British newspaper Argosy, May 6, 1893. Few but readers of old colonial state papers and records are aware that between the years 1649 through 1690, a lively trade was carried on between England and the plantations. A lively trade was carried on between England and the plantations, all between 1649 and 1690. As the colonies were then called, in political prisoners where they were sold by auction to the colonists for various terms of years, sometimes for life as slaves. What? No, not the white people. What? As slaves? For years? Sometimes for life? But then again, they see, because I'm noticing, wow. So it says right here, let me go back. I just wanted to see the last part. Why is this thing jumping around like that? That's not where I was at. I have my cat outside, and now he want to come back in the house. Yeah, they were sold at auctions. At auctions, y'all. I'm about to get up out of here, though, for real. Let me see where I'm at with this time. How long have I been going? Okay, I got 1:29. Yeah, I'm about to get up out of here because I need to go in here and finish making this food because it is getting late. Okay. But anyway, we're gonna pick this back up. More than likely tomorrow I'll be back here like about 6. Let's say about 6. So if anybody in the building wants to join in, you want to see more, and I'll make sure I have on my right glasses tomorrow, okay? But and I'll check out a video or two on how to really operate YouTube Live from the phone, right? So I can actually see the chat, so that way if anybody's saying anything, I can respond back because I do want to be able to respond back with y'all. It's the whole purpose of me going live too, so I can actually talk to my people. You know what I mean? Communicate with the people. Even though don't nobody never really leave no comments on none of my videos, I don't know why. They do get some type of traction. I encourage y'all to go back and check out some of my videos. Like I say, I'm a student. You know what I mean? And I'm self-taught. I'm autodidactic. Self-taught. I find that it's better like that. You know what I mean? But because I get to really really get into whatever it is that I'm learning. You feel me? Opposed to being in a classroom. Not that there's anything wrong with a classroom setting, but I'm just saying I am self-taught, right? So I'm a student. I'm a student, As I've said many times before, there's not many people in my personal circle that are even into any of this. Talking about true, actual, historical, scientific evidence. I hate to say historical sometimes because we know it correlates to his story. So I'm going to say, evidence, science, because that's really what we deal in. Especially, my culture, Wu Sabat, we deal in science. We deal in science, right? So I always try to be as correct as I can be. You may sometimes hear me mispronounce a word. I'm not a linguist. That's a misnomer. If I give a wrong date or something like that, I always try to correct myself. I'm just putting it out there, letting y'all know. Okay, but yeah, I'm gonna get up out of here. Let me see, where was we at? Okay, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, not the white people. What sold at the auction? Stop playing with me, man. Stop playing with me.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
On Amazon. Yeah, this is on Amazon. Anybody out there y'all want to know? You know what I'm saying? I got it looked like 2 people still hanging on. I appreciate you. Okay, as long as you're real and you ain't no bot, I appreciate you. Okay? But yeah, I'm just saying, like, not the white people sold at the auction for various years and sometimes for life. Wait a minute. Are you serious? Because I thought that only happened to the black slaves. I thought that only happened to the black people. Right? Being sold on an auction block. Huh? Like an old antique. Huh? Being whisked away and made somebody's slave for the rest of your life. I thought that only happened to black people. Well, wait a minute. Now for the rest of your life now, let's go back. I could be missing something. Am I missing something? Let's see. It says few but readers of old colonial state papers and records are aware that between the years 1649-1690, a lively trade was carried on between England and the plantations, as the colonies were then called, in political prisoners. So yeah, we that's what we talk about. Okay, wait a minute. I'm scrolling. Oh, you can scroll on here. When did they do that? Hold on, y'all. I'm tripping. Because I've been clicking this button to go to the next page, and I just now scrolled. Like, wait a minute, you can scroll? Oh, they implemented something new up in here. Okay, with the Amazon Kindle. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, but anyway, now where was I at? Okay. I'm just saying, like, not the white people, the white people? Wait a minute. You serious? No. That's not what they told me. That's not what they told us. Huh? You mean to tell me them two? Or was it just them? Which one was it? Huh? Was it them two or was it just them? Huh? I'm just saying. But anyway, y'all, I'm messing around right now. But yeah, I'm gonna get up out of here. Anybody else that rocked out with me all this time, I thank you and I appreciate you. Let me turn this around right quick. Yeah, anybody that rocked out with me all this time, y'all see I'm letting my hair grow out. But now I got all this gray hair, and the gray hair, I don't know, they just so stubborn, because any other time this would have been all running all down my back by now. But you know, these little gray hairs, they stubborn, honey, I'm telling you. But hey, it's a part of the game. That's what happens when you get older. You know, I just turned 54, made a 54th birthday, born day, right? Never spent around. But anyway, thank y'all for rocking out with me. Anybody that rocked out with your big sis, I do appreciate you. I'm gonna do my best to try to be here and do this with y'all every evening from moving forward, right? I'm gonna try to be here. You know, anybody got any some suggestions? I got a pretty good library here. We can go through a lot of these books and we can, you know, start to try to uncover a lot of this, you know, mystery as they've made it into a mystery, right? Because now we got to go back and we got to piece it all together and find all the missing pieces and everything. We got to play Madlock every day. You know, got the babies playing Madlock and, you know, little Nancy Drew, you know, remember Nancy Drew? Who used to read the little Nancy Drew books? Was it Nancy Drew? Nancy Drew, wasn't she like a little private eye or something like that? I think it was the Nancy Drew books. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna try to do this. I'm going to try to do this like maybe every evening around 6:00. Normally around 12 noon, I go live. I got some live videos right now sitting in my thing that I gotta fix them up so I can put them up and make them public, right? Because I've been doing this for the whole week. So normally what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get into the routine of going live, right? Because I've had this channel for so long and I really never went live because, like I said, I was never trying to build this channel up to be a business. I was really just teaching things that I was learning as I was going through. I was teaching things that I was coming in contact with and that I was learning things that were like, wow, nobody never told, you know what I mean? So I was passing it on because when I started this channel, it was really just for my people in my circle, you know, my little tribe, my circle, right? So I never really tried to build it into anything big, okay? But it did gain a little traction, you know, get me a few subscribers through the years, which I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you, you know, and on this channel, like I said, there's never no mas. There's never no hatred. I don't come with hate in my heart. Okay, in my culture, we practice ashuk, which is divine love, okay? So I never come with hatred in my heart, right? I always come with love, and I'm really just here to spread awareness, to do what I feel as though the ancestors would have me to do, right? Because you need to be the change that you want to see. I always say that we got to be the change that we want to see in the world, and it's got to start with us. And who more befitting than us? Didn't it all start with us? So that's how it's supposed to be, right? Each one teach one and then try to reach one. That's what I try to do. You know, I'm old school. I'm from Big Mama's house. That's where the big come from. Big sister, you must learn. Why that? Big represents Big Mama's house. Sister, because I'm a sister and I'm your sister. You must learn because we all must learn because we've all been severely miseducated. And we all must learn and we all need this work. Okay, you need this work, I need this work, we all need this work. Each one teach one. That's how it's supposed to be, right? And it does take a village to raise a baby. I'm from that school, so I do highly believe in that, right? 852, which means soul tribe, because I'm looking for my soul tribe. I'm looking for those that are like-minded. And you too just want to spread awareness. Spread awareness and set the record straight. As Pops said, set the record straight. Okay? But yeah, that's about it. So I'm gonna be trying to do this from now on. I'm gonna be trying to go live. You know, right now I gotta go live from my phone. Not that there's anything wrong with it. A lot of people are doing very well running their little YouTube channel right from their phone. I don't know why I've never thought about doing it like that, but because my PC, it seems like it needs something. I don't know. Every time I try to go live, because I even got a software just to go live, but I got to do some work with this PC because it's rejected it. So I said, well, just do. My cousin was like, just do it from your phone. So here we go, and this is what I'm gonna be doing, right? And remember, I'm a student. Okay, I'm not a linguist. I'm still learning too, but I'm sharing with you what I'm learning, and then I figure we can do this together. Let's take this walk together. What's wrong with that, right? So yeah, and you know that's about it, y'all. So you know, hey, remember, sky is not the limit. If you can think it, you can see it, then you can grab it and you can have it. And I love y'all. Until next time, be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. Peace. And don't forget, love one another. Love is the message. And I'm out. Peace.